Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Life After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 44.
Listen here, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Blair, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Walk us through it, please.
So we start with Daniel and Bianca. This is Daniel's third day out of prison. So just be mindful. He's only been out of prison for 3 days.
How many days?
3.
Okay.
Bianca says, they were waking up from the catastrophe that was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
She tells him that she had a bad day and she wanted to drink, have fun with his cousin, and she didn't mean to trigger him.
Okay.
She feels like he led her on and he hasn't committed to her because he hasn't proposed since he has been out.
Okay.
They talked about getting married while he was still inside, and he says that he's glad that they didn't get married, and he proposed because he was being an idiot.
Okay.
Bianca tells him that marriage would make her feel more secure, but she would just like him to do some of those small things to make her feel appreciated.
Listen, I can understand that because you said like he been out for 3 months.
Uh-huh.
So
3 days.
Excuse me?
3 days.
You said 3 days.
3 days.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought it was 3 months. Okay,
and
go
it's
ahead,
the
continue.
same conversation about him not getting her the coffee after he made her breakfast. And he tells her, I'm not going to do everything for you. You need to be able to stand on your own too.
Yeah.
Bianca tells him not to raise her voice. He did raise his voice just a little bit.
That don't mean nothing.
But she says this is a dumb conversation and they don't have to be together. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so you're telling me in one breath you want to get married. I yell at you once and then you say you don't want to be together at all.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to make the coffee because she was going to expect it every time. And he also doesn't want her to think that he is her slave or her housekeeper.
Yeah.
So Bianca says, well, we're just not getting each other. She agrees that there needs to be healthy boundaries in a relationship, but you should want to do things to make your partner happy.
Yeah.
And he tells her straight up, don't rely on me to do things to make you happy because that is not going to work. She asks, well, what does that look like when we're married? Am I just going to have to take care of everything in the house? And she feels like it is a red flag for her. And he feels like this is a red flag for him as well. Well, they both agree to just table the conversation. They both apologize and kiss. Daniel wants to go out with his cousin and really get more information on what went down at the bar.
And my thing is this, right? I have a saying, don't be mad if I'm irritated if you're being irritating. Don't the wrong party don't get to say don't yell at me. Don't be wrong. You get what I'm saying? So basically her whole gaslighting tactics of basically like you're yelling, don't yell at me, oh my God. But whole time you was the one that was wrong that was drinking. You was the wrong that was gaslighting and basically didn't care about him and basically said, go ahead and have a drink. I don't care. It's your life. You was the one that's basically trying to gaslight him by trying to get a ring. And you said he been out for 3 years.
3 days.
3 days. Okay. I keep hearing 3 and I'm like, no one's going to be mad at somebody for being out 3 days and not having a ring in 3 days. So I'm like, maybe your notes is wrong. I don't know. 3 days just seem crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right. But again, Bianca's crazy. So it's like Bianca's using these gaslighting tactics of trying to basically make him as mad as possible, get him to crash out. And then when he crash out or when he show a little a pushback, all of a sudden you're yelling at me and really don't yell at me. Whole time there's a list of wrong of things that you have done, but yet you're trying to get on me talking about I'm a red flag. Bianca's a walking red flag to me.
Absolutely. And she doesn't care. She doesn't get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand the importance of his sobriety and the fact that she support him in that. Like, she's not going to be a support system for him. So it's really up to him to get himself out of this toxic situation. Like, he's old enough, grown enough, the more mature person in the relationship, and he has a lot more at stake here. So if he decides to be with her, then I'm like, hey, you're going to get what you get by dealing with this girl. But I feel like he sees the signs and he sees there's really no talking to her.
And bro, just go home and live with your parents.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You have more support there.
So Daniel goes to see his cousin. At the same time, Bianca is FaceTiming her friend, and she asks him to come out to visit her in Arizona.
Yeah.
She fills him in on the arguments that they've been having, and she just feels very alone.
Okay.
So Daniel asks his cousin what went down at the bar, and she admitted to having a drinking problem, but she continued to have more drinks. She's not ready to give up drinking at this point. And she also asked for some foreplay. Well, Daniel thinks it's messed up that she would talk about their sexual relationship with her cousin. And the cousin tells him, look, like, because she did so much for you, in order for her to give up everything to come to Arizona, she probably is putting you in a position of being responsible for her happiness.
Yeah.
And they both agree like that's not going to be a good solution.
No.
So if she gets mad, she might kick you out and you'll end up homeless. Daniel admits that he's scared. He loves her, but he's in a battle right now, and he's really afraid that it's going to spiral out pretty fast.
Go home to your parents.
Yeah. I'm like, call your PO today while you're in the car, or even if you're sitting out there with your cousin. I'm sure he don't mind if you want to call your PO and just say, hey, I need to do an address change. I thought this would be okay, but this is not a safe environment.
Yeah. And I need to go home to my mama.
Right.
Because I know my daddy going to be in there making sure nobody drink anything.
Right.
You know?
So we move on to Joey and Kim.
Yeah.
So this will be Kim's third time wedding dress shopping, third marriage. She says either third time's a charm or 3 strikes him out.
Listen here, 3 is the magic number this episode.
So her cousin Tatum is there to support her while she is dress shopping. They haven't started planning the wedding yet because of everything they have to pay for. Tatum apologizes for leaving the engagement party how she did. She was very tearful. But Kim just explains to her she just wants everyone to mesh. She loves her fiance, she loves her cousin, and she just wants the family to get along.
Okay, that's fair.
Tatum still doesn't trust Joey, but she's saying if Kim wants to do this, hopefully she sees a new Joey in the process. So Kim's trying on her dresses, and she's saying that everything is new and different, but as long as Joey is sober, Kim is willing to stick it out with him.
Okay.
So Kim is technically still married, but she still plans on going through with the marriage with Joey. I'm assuming just the wedding, because you can't do that legally.
You can't get married twice.
So I think she's like, we're going to plan this wedding on whatever day we want to. But Joey thinks that the divorce is going to be final any day now. But Kim, from what it sounds like, she hasn't met with a lawyer. She hasn't filed for divorce. She's just kind of hoping that for the paperwork she can sign on a dotted line since it's been about a year now. Well, moving on from that, Kim is scared because she talks about the paternity test. If Kaysen is Joey's, then what does that mean for her when it comes to her divorce? And also, how will it affect her son knowing this information? Well, the cousin does not think now is the right time for her to get married, but hey, Kim's going to do what she wants to do.
It's kind of hard to say that when she's standing on that podium with a wedding dress on. And this just lets me know, like, these people are senile. Because that makes no sense. Like, why are you even wedding dress shopping? Joey don't even have a job. You get what I'm saying? You don't have a good job. You know, so it's like, and you're married. Why don't you get divorced? But the reason why she probably can't get divorced because she probably can't afford it.
Probably.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? So it's like,
point.
But you can afford to have a wedding. So it's like, y'all are in the hole. And it's just like, you know what? Y'all can have it.
Yeah, I don't know what the rush is.
Yeah.
I think in other situations, I see why there's a rush to get married, but I don't see why Kim can't just live with Joey and just kind of see how this thing works out for a few months. Why are we rushing down the aisle? I don't see what the big rush is.
Just to not be legally married.
Exactly.
Like, it makes no sense.
So we move on to Tennie and Rob. So we see Rob at work. He is inspecting trucks. So apparently when he was incarcerated, he went through school. He graduated with his GED. Tennie ends up bringing him some lunch, and he tells her, like, look, this is a temporary situation. This isn't no long-term plan. He wants to take a CDL class, but it's going to cost over $5,000 for them out of pocket.
That's fair.
And she has been home for a year, and Rob tells her, like, you're going to need to get a job.
You need to get a job.
At first, Tennie's like, I don't really know. Like, it's going to be a huge adjustment. But she's like, I can get a job. You know, she had her daughter at 21 and she worked hard to provide for her kids. So it's something that she can do. And she says she could probably get it in a couple of weeks. Well, and he also adds a request for her to make any calls before there are any purchases. So that way they know what's going in and out the accounts. So.
What are your thoughts on just that alone before we get to the second part?
I kind of wish this is something that they would have discussed before he got out of prison. Because I would assume like if he was going to be going down the straight and narrow, getting out of prison, like his job prospects probably weren't going to be that great. The fact that he even has a job is a great thing. So I don't know. I feel like him and Tennie could have done better as far as Tennie having, you know, some reserves or just working and having some things in order.
Yeah.
So that way they're not relying on Rob's sole income for them to get by. So I just wish they would have prepped a little bit better for that. But it just seemed like Tennie was enjoying her time off. So and Rob said it was fine at the time.
And you have to understand something. Tennie thought that she was living the life of basically the wife of a drug lord. Basically. Someone who where the husband can make the money behind the bars and he just send the money and things like that. And I don't know why she thought, or even like that was what's the word that was gonna be continuous once he get out.
Right.
So it's like you living this fast life, because that's basically what it is. While your husband or man is in prison, you over here like my man pays for everything. I'm like, that's the fast life. Like for one, like, why you even think like that? You are the one that needs to be on the outside. Now it makes me think of like insurance. Do you have it? Do your kids have it? You get what I'm saying? Because if you are looking at Rob for money, obviously whatever insurance he have is not covering nobody. So it's like, Tennie, you are the one that's supposed to be having something solid, something that's already in motion.
The stability.
But whole time, Rob is ahead of you. And he just got out of prison. How is that even possible? You get what I'm saying?
Well, moving on, they're at the house and they're just kind of chatting. Tennie tells Rob that they got season passes for the water park because he's asking where the kids are at. She's like, they're at the park. He's like, they were at the park yesterday. She's like, that was the water park. They're at a different park today.
What?
And so, but she's like, you know, there were season passes that were like $250. So I got that so we can go to the water park as much as we want to.
He set up immediately.
And Rob was upset because before he even got out of prison, they talked about discussing purchases over $100. And Tennie says that, you know, she doesn't have any bad spending habits. She is a bargain shopper, and they show us her closet, and she's got, you know, a lot of things. Rob says, you know, we've talked about this, and she's like, well, you know, I'm going to get a job in 2 weeks. It's not going to be an issue. And he says, okay, I'll leave it alone. You'll get a job in 2 weeks. Okay. And she was like, in the meantime, in those 2 weeks, you also need to cover up your goofy tattoo.
No, we're not doing that.
So apparently they both have 2 weeks to work on their designated tasks.
And that's what I mean. Like you don't
this is like very tit for tat.
You don't get to be irritating and then I am not irritated. No. First of all, let's start with this water park. They add another park.
Yeah. I
thought you just paid $250 for the pass. How come we're going to this water park every day for $250? Do I personally think that it was a waste to pay $250 for the water park? It depends. If my children have an interest in swimming, right, in the sense of like they want to be a swimmer and they want to be around water, then I'll be like, okay, this is an investment. You know what I'm saying? Especially for black kids, black people. Not a lot of people have access to pools and just water in general, right? In a water park like that. But if she just brought it in the sense of for them just to tire themselves out, I'm like, wait a minute. They can run outside. We can go to community parks. We can go to walking trails. We could do things as a like if you're just doing it as like
try to find a community pool.
Yeah, it's like no, like but so like I don't get Tennie on that. Also, when it comes to her with her closet, I actually have no problem with her with the bargain shopping. Yeah. The problem with bargain shopping is you get such a good sale and you get such a good bargain that you shop every day there. And then it kind of takes away the fact that, if I only spent $150 on this outfit compared to $500, but if I spend $150 every day, I spend, guess what? $500. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and for me, as rude as it may sound, I don't know why you need that much clothes if you don't got no job. You only gonna be in the house. You get what I'm saying? Wear it, wash it. Wear it, wash it. Wear it, wash it. So like I don't know where Tennie's coming from. And the tit for tat with the tattoo, he should have known that tattoo was not gonna fly anyway. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't even like he put like this. He should take the initiative of wanting to cover it if he's really over this girl. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, just finances are a huge thing in relationships, marriages, things that break people up. So Yeah, I think being proactive about it would have been better, but the fact that they weren't proactive about it, maybe we shouldn't spend money on entertainment so freely. And try to think of free alternatives. But I don't know if Tennie, I think it could be one or two things. They might have a good savings, and Tennie feels like we're comfortable, where Rob feels like, I don't want us to live and pull from our savings. We need to have income to offset whatever the case may be.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So I feel like rather than like Tennie is like spending their last, I think that she feels like they're in a decent enough position to where he's like, this is not really my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of make sure the income is coming through, so it feels better, for me financially. So,
and you have to understand, even though it hasn't happened yet, in his mind, he's already thinking, I'm $5,000 in the hole. Because he's like, I gotta pay for this license and for this class.
Yeah.
So whatever money he have or don't have, he's like, I don't have it because I automatically subtract 5,000 from it.
Yeah, because of all the things we need to be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we move on to Melissa and Louie.
Yeah.
He spent $18,500 on this ring for Melissa, and he is planning to propose.
Why?
So Melissa is with her sister. She thinks the family should be good with him now. They had concerns when he first got out, but he's been working on himself, and he has been working to be a better person.
Oh my God!
So
18,000.
She has been betrayed in past relationships, and she has a fear of Louie doing that to her.
Yeah.
To the point where she sometimes self-sabotages things when things seem to be too good.
Yeah.
So they meet up with her dad for lunch. It's her dad's birthday. Louie arrives, and he's like really nervous. They eat, have a good time. When she goes to walk her sister out, Louie asks the dad for Melissa's hand in marriage. He tells him that I am protective of my daughters, and he asks if he can keep a straight and narrow path. He tells the dad that he can, so the dad approves it and just tells him to keep up the good work.
Let's keep going.
All right. Well, Melissa doesn't like that Louie was posting all these videos. He's training all these women, and she thought that they would have a lot more time together.
Yeah.
So she's chilling, taking a bath, having a glass of wine. He brings in some pizza, and she's wondering, why are we having pizza again? She's like, between the both of us, we have 6 jobs. We should be able to eat something better than some pizza.
It's free.
Yeah. And you was at the house, but you decided to take a bath. So
I'm about to say, like I would think
if we're a team here, this is my contribution teammate.
You bring something.
I was at the pizza place,
what I mean?
so I'm bringing you something. So, and she tells him that the training is just very time consuming.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like that he's always online trying to get girls to train or trying to get them to buy his supplements.
Yeah.
And he's explaining to her, like, I'm trying to build up my clientele. So he ends up getting a phone call during the middle of their conversation. She throws a wet towel at him, and he throws the pizza on the ground.
You know what? Since you ain't want no pizza.
So Melissa just feels like when he was in prison, he had all the time for her, but that is not the case now.
Is it possible for two people to be right at the same time?
It's possible.
I don't think this is the situation, but I think she's not right, but she's also not wrong. And let me explain, right? We can empathize and sympathize with my man's because he have to work multiple jobs, multiple low-end jobs to at least make a decent salary, right? He has to be a trainer. He has to work a pizza job. It just all these things he have to do, right? Including she had to work multiple jobs as well.
Right.
So within those jobs as a trainer, you have to build clientele. Of course, you are basically your own boss, and you have to basically work. You basically at the gym all day, because if I have a client from 8 to 9, I may have another client from 9:30 to 10:30, or you know what I'm saying. You at the gym all day.
People might need to change their schedules around.
Exactly.
You know.
But to support Melissa, there has to be a time where the phone don't ring at night.
Yeah.
I like I would love to jump and yell at Melissa about this. But my thing is, bruh, what is his name again? Louie, right? You spent $19,000 on the ring. I like to round up to make it sound worse.
Okay.
Because it supports my story, right? You spent $19,000 on a ring. I would think that you would do everything in your power to protect your relationship because you invested $19,000 into the ring. Forget what she has to do. Forget about, hey, you know, like you was home, you could have brought something and things like that. If I spend $19,000 on the ring, I am sure this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I would do everything in my power to make sure that she's comfortable and not be on some I don't care what you think It's one thing to say I don't care what you think, but at the same time you spend $19,000 on the ring. It's like your actions is not matching with your spending. So that's why I'm like, I think they both are kind of right in this situation. There's things he have to do that she have to be comfortable with, like the whole idea of like spending more time with me. Hey, listen, you have to give a little bit, but at the same time, Lou, after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you gotta turn the phone off, bro.
See, I could get with you, but my thing is like they're in grind mode right now.
Yeah. Help
and
me.
I think that at certain points in your relationship, you might have to, I wouldn't say put the relationship on the back burner, but you kind of prioritize getting you guys ahead as a unit in order for you guys to be comfortable.
So you want him to take those calls at night?
Not necessarily. Let me finish. Let me cook. So Melissa has this idea that he was in prison. He had all the time in the world for her, but now that's not the case.
Yeah.
Melissa, he was in prison. He had nothing but time.
He had time.
Nothing but time.
Yeah.
So my point is that he's gotten out of prison. He's saving up all this money to get you the ring of your dreams, probably to pay for the wedding of your dreams and all these things. So both of you guys are probably working your fingers to the bone right now.
Nubs.
Right. And so I think it's more so about their communication and being on the same page of, okay, what are we doing? Where are we trying to get to? Can we fit in date nights? Can we fit in coffee hours? You know, what can we do to try to stay connected as a couple, but also be able to realize like, look, we're in grind mode right now. We don't have the luxury of just chilling, being on the phone like we were when he was in prison.
Yeah.
Like, this is not that situation. Like, they're trying to build a life for themselves and also do it kind of lavishly, if you ask me. I'm like, y'all could go the cheaper route, but it seems like they want to do it lavishly.
I hear you.
So if that's the case, if that's the life that y'all want to live, then y'all need to come to agreement on what time looks like when y'all are trying to go for these goals. So,
and to your point, you are right? But $19,000 for a ring is not grind mode to me.
To me, I'm like, that's the lot. She wanted a 2 carat whatever diamond ring.
Then look,
and he said he's going to get that for her. So
grind. There's no such thing as grind mode 5 days a week. And then 2 days out of the week. Listen, when you're in grind mode as a couple, it has to be agreed upon that this is the season that we're in, and there's no days off in grind mode. So, like, even when it comes to date nights, and I know you even like trying to compromise with even coffee hours, we in grind mode. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like he wants to be in grind mode or use grind mode as an excuse of why he can't do certain things, while at the same time you spend $19,000 on the ring. If you're in grind mode, there's no way you spend $19,000 on the ring. And I know she wants that.
But I'm saying then she needs to change her expectations, but I don't think she's willing to.
Unless she got something to measure that ring. She don't know the difference between a 1.5 and a 1 carat and 2 carat.
I'm just saying they're on another level of what they want versus what they can actually afford.
Yeah.
So we move on to Karak and Britney.
Yeah.
She is in a waiting process to transfer to Texas.
Yeah.
They're staying with Karak's friend, sleeping on an air mattress, just trying to wait this thing out. So they have been relying on their savings, and they're talking about budget. They're paying 2 rents, one in Houston and then Karak's friend as well. So if he goes to Houston, he has the HVAC job that, you know, he can make some good money working. But Karak doesn't want to go without Britney.
Better than me.
And so he says the only way that I will go is if we get married first, because, you know, if the parole and all that stuff in Texas is saying like you need to be living with your family, we will be family if we get married.
Yeah.
So this is what they're thinking might work in order for her to get approved the next go around.
Yeah.
So she always wanted a big wedding, and Karak promises that he will give that to her, but they're going to have to elope to try this thing out.
Listen, put a pin in that. We gonna do the whole scene of this because I'm gonna touch on the first part of this once Blair read the second part.
So Britney goes trying on wedding dresses with one of her friends, and her friend thinks that Karak is being kind of controlling.
Okay.
And voices that to Britney.
Okay.
And Britney feels like maybe he is taking it a little bit too far by saying he won't go to Houston unless we get married. And she does want her family to be there, but she's like, why would I tell them about it if they can't come?
Yeah.
The friend thinks that the family still should know. The friend got a whole lot of opinions.
Okay, of course.
So Karak goes to a flower shop. He actually ends up calling his mom to try to fill her in on the elopement. We don't really get to see that call just yet.
Yeah.
But Britney is trying on more dresses. She can't wait to wear it, and she just wishes her family was here. The friend asks, well, why can't you guys go to Texas with the relationship how it currently is and just plan for the big wedding anyway? Brittany explains to her, look, girl, the elopement is happening. We're not talking about me not getting married. But the friend just thinks that maybe they should think through it first.
Yeah.
And she recommends, why don't you call your probation officer just to see what they have to say? Just ask more questions. So Brittany calls the parole officer and says that she's planning on getting married to Karak. And the PO officer tells her, like, look, Texas is very weary of fraud and people trying to live with people who aren't necessarily family. So they wouldn't recommend that she get married, especially after she just got denied.
Here's the thing. If we go back to the beginning of this scene, the problem with this relationship, Brittany and Karak, is how you say his name? Poor planning. Too many leaps of faith.
Yeah.
Too many hopeful dreams. Too many fantasies, right? Now, y'all trying to do something, because y'all are a real couple that probably had real plans to get married. And now that you got denied, something that you probably was planning on doing anyway will now come off as fraud.
Possibly.
Where you should have did that first. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, y'all should have been married first, because you should have been talking to your PO, talking to somebody about the process 2-3 steps ahead, so he wouldn't already have his job in Houston. His mama wouldn't be yelling at him and say, I'm going to Houston anyway, and all things of that nature. Now with the friend, right? With this whole thing of he is controlling. What's wrong with controlling? Like, number one, he's the one that's in the situation. He's the one making the sacrifice. He's the one that's basically saying, look, I'm not going to go to Houston without you. So he's the one that's saying, hey, I'm trying not to get a job in VA because I don't want to have to leave it if you get approved. But, like, I'm trying to think of something that will benefit you. Because I'm not on parole.
Right.
I'm not on probation. You get what I'm saying? So, like, this whole controlling thing, that's just something that people like to throw out there with the whole, like, you know, whole time, even though he's being controlling, I should do what you say. Like, so, like, you have no better ideas. My thing is this. They should have gotten married. I don't get the whole point, especially since both of y'all was in prison. Both of y'all did time and things like that. Y'all are together. Y'all was on probation together. Y'all are already doing life together. Why didn't y'all just get married from the jump? And now it's going to come off as fraud, but I say take that risk.
Yeah.
I'm like, you literally have no other option, in my opinion.
That's how I feel too. I feel like marriage is the only option for them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, because if they need to be able to live with a family member and they want to live with each other and they've been doing life together, then I think this is kind of their best shot at making it happen. Now, if it backfires, that would suck. But this is the situation they're in right now. So, no, and I honestly feel like Brittany wants to get married to Karak. So I get what the friend is saying. Like, if Brittany was feeling pressured, but they want to do this and they were planning this trip anyway. Like, this is not something that I feel like is unwillingly doing. Like, she's looking forward to it. It's just not quite the way she wanted it to. But because of the situation with the law and her being on parole, like, the friend, I don't think she's taken into account that, look, your friend is on parole. Yeah. Okay. She got to figure something out. And it's not just going to be, oh, you go to Texas and we can figure out the wedding and all this type of stuff. Like, no, especially if I were Brittany, I would feel more secure the fact that you wanted to marry me before leaving, because it's kind of like a commitment that you're keeping to me that you are still coming back for me. You're not just moving and going to forget about me. Yeah. But, you know, who am I?
And also, like, if I didn't get denied, I would have been going to Texas anyway. So, like, what do you mean, like, controlling now? I was already going to Houston, so it is what it is.
Yeah. So we move on to Justine and Michael.
Yeah.
They are at the lawyer's office to talk about the will. Justine is willing to have life-saving measures, but if there's no quality of life, she doesn't want to continue on.
Okay.
Well, Michael feels like that's a little bit selfish, because he asked her, well, what if you get better? What am I going to tell the kids? And she says, just tell the kids I made a selfless decision. She says that she doesn't want her kids seeing her like that. She doesn't want Michael seeing her like that. Justine has 2 minor sons, and she has her daughter who's 19, and she explains to the lawyer that she would want her daughter to have custody of her minor sons.
Yeah.
Michael thinks that's crazy, since the daughter is a child herself. She's 19. Yeah. He thinks that would be breaking up the family. So he ends up storming out because he feels like he can't get a word in, and she already has her mind made up. He really loves the boys, and if something happened to her, he would feel obligated to step up. Like, he really is a father figure to these boys.
Yeah.
Well, Justine explains to the lawyer that, he's only been in the home with the kids for about a year and a half. And her son is on the autism spectrum, and her daughter just has a lot more knowledge about how that is and just how to work with him. And Michael lacks the patience when it comes to Santana.
Okay.
The lawyer recommends co-guardianship. That way, if they want to keep them in the same household as Michael, so he's like the head of the household, but the daughter also has a say so when it comes to doctor's appointments and schools and all this type of stuff. She says, it's not that we're not all family, but she kind of does have like her family that she has to think about. Well, Michael comes back in, and Justine tells him that you don't have the years of knowledge on how to advocate for Santana. He feels that it's a smack in the face with her suggesting this, because she always talks about how he's a great father, but her recommending this as far as what she would like when it comes to custody makes it feel like she doesn't think he really is.
And what are your thoughts on that, Blair?
I feel like, look, you guys have only been married for a couple of years. And she's probably going to go with what she feels or what she's known the most and the longest. Yeah. So I don't fault her for wanting to have her daughter be the primary, like the guardian of the son, because I'm just saying, if I'm going off of what I saw, the boy broke the phone and Michael punched the wall. I'm just saying. I could see someone having a little bit of concern of like, my child is autistic and this is how your reaction. Like, I don't know about this.
Give me that TV.
Yeah, like, I don't know about this. So I definitely agree with the hesitation in the decision, but it just takes me back to the point of, you guys should have planned better when it came to this baby.
Come on now.
Because the daughter shouldn't have to think about being guardian, and Michael shouldn't have to think about his home and his family being broken up. But this is a situation we're in, and pretty much what she's saying, it kind of sucks either way, but she feels like her daughter would be the best advocate for her son. So I feel like I have to respect that.
And I have to ask you a question. If you just on this little riddle, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, who knows?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know.
You chicken. Don't pick one. It's only two options.
Chicken.
You only 50% right or wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You said chicken. So if the chicken came first, right, that means that, hey, this little precaution thing you call yourself doing with talking about the will, that's actually not the precaution right there. The precaution is you actually sitting down and deciding to have another baby. That's actually where it started. It don't start now, where you talking about the will, like, yeah, I'm being proactive with the will and being proactive with making sure that my 19-year-old is in charge. That no. Let's go back to where you decided to have another baby when the doctor told you not to. You get what I'm saying? And now you have to pay the piper for your decisions. This is what taking accountability looks like. And unfortunately, somebody has to basically pay the price for your decisions, and that being a 19-year-old daughter. And I would think that you was in high school when you had her. You was in high school when you became a mother, and now she's in college further along than where you were, and now you want to kind of put an anchor on her. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not what a good parent do, in my opinion. Michael do be punching walls, right? I think he do be punching walls. But I don't think he be punching walls because he has an autism son and he don't know how to deal with autism. I think he be punching walls because he don't know how to deal with stress, right? And my thing is, you're going to be under more stress as a single parent.
Yeah.
So you gonna have a lot of walls unless you have glass walls. Because I ain't seen him punching a wall in that office with the lawyer. So do I respect her decision to make her daughter the guardian? I guess. I don't know. I just don't respect her decision to have this baby that she's about to have, knowing that this was going to be basically going against the doctor's order. That's what I don't respect. But now that we're here, we got to take precaution as much as we can.
Yeah.
We got to try to make a bad decision less bad. You know what I mean? Anything else?
That's all I got.
Listen, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. Make sure y'all like it. Make sure y'all share it, because we want to make sure people see it. Don't be selfish and hold on to the video. Share it. Let your friends see it. And we see you next time. We see you next week. We are doing Love is Blind reunion next week. And look out next week. We go release a lot of videos next week. I have a lot of takes to get off my chest when it comes to multiple shows. So we see you then.
Bye.